Today I want to share with you 7 tips for how to homeschool through pregnancy and with little ones. Hi, I'm Emily. I'm the Frogleymom. My husband Dave and I have been married 19 years, and we have 12 children, ages 17 down to 1, and we have always homeschooled. Homeschooling through pregnancy, with newborns, with infants, and then with toddlers can definitely be an adventure. I've done it many times, and I have 7 tips on how to make homeschooling through pregnancy and with little ones much easier. Tip number 1 is read this book. Sarah Mackenzie's book, Teaching from Rest, is kind of an essential read for every homeschool mom every year. I know lots of other homeschool moms recommend this book as well, and it's for good reason. It's absolutely a fabulous book that will help you get into the right mindset. Tip number 2, the baby is the lesson. When you're pregnant, teach your children about the human body. Teach them about nutrition. When I was pregnant with my twins, I was super nauseous all the time. I don't know who decided it was morning sickness because it's really all-day sickness, but I could only move in the mornings if I started the day with an orange. I don't know why, but for some reason an orange was the thing that got me out of bed in the morning during that pregnancy. My oldest at the time, Kathryn, was only 4. She was an angel, and every morning she would go downstairs, grab the orange, bring me the orange and a garbage can, and I would peel the orange off the side of the bed and eat my orange, and then I could get up and kind of start my day. Those kinds of lessons are so valuable for our children. When baby is born, teach them to read stories to the baby. Even if it's a toddler, showing pictures in a picture book to a newborn. Teach them to dress the baby. Teach them to change baby's diaper. Not because they need to take over your jobs for you. These are wonderful sibling bonding moments and wonderful life skills. If you are going to be teaching your older children lessons while you have a newborn, don't be afraid to end early or start late or just skip lessons altogether and take a nap for the day. Formal grammar and math can come later when baby's older, when you have more dedicated brain power, or you can rely on tip number 3. Tip number 3 is to outsource. You can outsource your chores and your children's classes. Some of your chores you might be able to outsource to your children. Teach them to do laundry, teach them to do dishes, teach them to make meals for the family. These are all good, again, life skills that children need to have, and now is the perfect time to teach them. You could even outsource some of these chores to a maid service or a meal service. Read alouds are absolutely wonderful in homeschooling, but sometimes we need to outsource that too. Audiobooks can help when you are too tired to read or when baby is just too squirmy for you to hold a book and see it. Also, outsource classes. Sometimes while we're focused on newborns and toddlers, it's hard to do all of the teaching for all the things we want to teach our children. There are often lots and lots of community resources for classes. We are part of a homeschool commonwealth that meets once a week, and for years I counted our homeschool commonwealth as good enough for science, for history, for arts and crafts, and even for music. My kids got plenty of that at Commonwealth once a week, and I didn't have to worry about teaching it. I didn't have to worry about cleaning up the mess in my home, and I could focus more on the subjects I wanted to teach at home and taking care of my family. Tip number 4 is to schedule time, not content. Sarah Mackenzie talks about time blocking in this book. Again, excellent read. It means we are going to work on history for 30 minutes today, not we are going to read this chapter in our history book. Then you set a timer, and when the timer beeps, you move on. Even if you're in the middle of a chapter, even if you're in the middle of a page. If you finish a chapter and the timer hasn't beeped yet, you can go ahead and start the next chapter. Or you could end early and take a nap on the couch. One thing that we have loved doing is using our time timer. We have most subjects set for 15 to 20 to 30 to even 45 minutes, and we will set our time timer, and then we will work on the subject until the timer beeps. As you can see, as the timer disappears, it looks like a minute hand moving towards the hour, which is fun. When it gets to the top, it beeps for us, That way we don't accidentally miss seeing that it's done, but then it's really easy to just reset for the next period. I'll go ahead and put a link to this in the description. I have especially found that scheduling time, not content, helps my little children learn to focus. Once they get used to that process of the timer starts, the timer runs, then I get to be done even if I didn't finish, then they are more likely to try again the next time.
Better go back for the hot dogs, says Smiles. At last, Miles and Jax get to the campground. Jax.
Tip number 5 is to plan way less than you think you can fit in. If you think dinner's going to take you an hour to make, start making it 2 hours before you need it. If you think a history lesson will fit nicely into a 30-minute chunk of time, only plan to do half of it. You need to leave buffer time in because things happen, especially with young toddlers and with new babies. Somebody needs to nurse, somebody has a blowout, somebody needs to go potty and is potty training. There's so many interruptions, and we need to plan time for those, because if we don't have time for those, then we will feel like we are constantly behind. Tip number 6 is to keep the baby with you as much as possible. The more a baby has going on around them at all times, the more they learn to sleep through anything. You can strap baby to you to keep them warm and snuggly while they're napping early. You can put them on the couch next to you, on the floor at your feet, or on the floor next to you. My babies would eventually move from the couch, the floor, or my wrap to bouncy seats and then to high chairs so that they could be part of the family. When they needed me, I could hold them, I could nurse them, I could change diapers, and at the same time, I can continue discussing things with my older children. Tip number 7 is to start with your little ones.
Sir Roland greeted them all as they passed over the drawbridge, and then followed them into the great hall of the castle. The lord of the castle took his place on the highest seat, and Sir Roland came forward to return the Gideon. Come here.
No.
For there in the center of Sir Roland's shield shined the golden star.
I start reading with little ones on my lap, and when our morning basket time is done, those little ones go into our nursery, and then I start doing our other subjects with the older kids. Feed the baby, change the diaper, get them ready to sit on a blanket next to you or be tied onto you. Then work with your toddler, read a story together, give them a snuggly stuffed animal to hold, give them lots of cuddles, make sure they have a snack and a sippy cup, then send them off to go play. Then work with your children, youngest to oldest. You can do this individually or you can do it in groups. When your baby needs you, go back to the baby and start the process over again. If your preschooler needs to go potty, take a break and help them, then you can jump right back into where you were in the rotation. Older children can work on independent work while they wait for you, or they can sometimes join in on family lessons. Do make sure you check in with each of your children every day. Sometimes this is really hard for the older ones who are doing so well working independently and you feel like they've got it, they're fine. Yeah, don't listen to that. Actually go check in with them. Ask them what assignments they worked on. Ask them what they're excited to work on next. If you start with the younger children and work your way up, they will be less likely to come and constantly interrupt. They still have needs. They still want to be with mom. Sometimes it's good to keep working with older ones and just let the little ones come and sit on your lap. But if you start your day with the younger ones, the whole day will go smoother. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have more homeschooling videos on the way. Please let me know if you have any questions. I would be happy to answer them in upcoming videos. And have a great day.